There we go.
Cybertron.
Cybertron.
All right, just like that, we're back.
Here we are.
We now return you to Children of Primus.
There we go. We'll get the opening eventually. Again.
Eventually.
You get
So
to,
maybe you get those pictures, Ben? Did they come through the messenger?
Let me open it up and see.
And while Spin does that, maybe we should make it clear to folks watching that we had to switch from a different streaming service to another to be able to come to you live tonight.
mm-hmm.
So that's the man. I cannot talk tonight.
The
That's all
power
right.
of the internet.
You could also pull up a real chair, not just an imaginary one. I say, reacting to the comments.
Or an upside down
Hi, James.
number 4.
Hey, James, welcome back.
Yes, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have my gigantic pile of stuff here on the table, which will just always exist for all eternity. It's a problem. I got this table in the middle of the room here, right? This is where I do my photo shoots, and this is where I put the laptop. This is where I grab all the stuff. And I always say, I'm going to clear it off. Everything goes back on the shelves. It never happens. There's always just robots all over this table. At least this time it was because I grabbed a bunch to talk about here, so...
Yeah, anytime I clear off my work table, I turn around.
We are on stage. Okay, we're back.
We just faded to black.
Bye.
Stuff's happening in the background.
That's good.
Roy Warp, are you here?
I am here. Sorry.
Okay, so my sister just posted something. She's the one that's down there in Lake City, and I don't understand it. What does evacuation notice move from Area C to Area A evacuations?
Just the word evacuation is already an issue.
Right? Have
Not
they
that anybody actually
set
does.
up? Have they set up areas A, B, and C or something in?
Yeah,
in Florida?
general protocol for hurricanes. Yeah, it has to do with how high the land is.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I learned a thing.
Which I guess I would throw the question to you guys, because I know you're more prone to hurricanes than we are. Does the government or any form of, any form of structure, do they tell everyone ahead of time, what this area, what areas to evacuate to in case of such emergencies?
That's what this post was just about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, area. Some friends just got the evacuation notice moved from Area C to Area A. They're trying to get to Orlando to get away from it.
Wow.
You guys see the FEMA caskets rolling in?
What now?
FEMA caskets?
Okay, this is like a 25-year-old joke there.
Oh, if people are actually evacuating to where they're at. They're coming into their area.
I remember that, Deceptikitty. Now that you said it was that old, yes, I remember some... God, what was that? My brain is not working tonight.
It was some conspiracy theory where there's some American government organization that's meant for rescue scenarios, but it's really meant to cull the population. It was such a weird thing.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory to keep the population under 500 million.
That'd be incredible. Under 500.
I just don't remember it was million or billion. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The internet's fun like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so you guys are okay? Everything is turning out all right? You guys are still in a hurricane? Or what's going on down there?
Oh no, we got a hurricane headed right for us. One
Oh,
formed
boy.
in the bottom of Gulf, in the bottom of Gulf Mexico, like on the Mexico side, and it's literally like coming straight for us, straight for Tampa.
Wow.
So be safe, everybody that's out there, including you.
As evacuations go, us folks in brick and mortar homes, not really a big deal, but mobile homes are still a big thing down here. And so, yeah, everybody in a mobile home should probably be evacuating. The problem is with evacuating is looters. As soon as the storm,
Right.
as soon as the storm starts to let up, looters start in.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
By the way,
That's
James,
why-
I got. Oh, sorry.
That's
Go
why.
ahead.
Sorry, I was just one more thing. That's why I won't evacuate. I just got too much stuff here.
You got to guard your
man.
robots.
Exactly.
That's
my
a
cars.
rough situation to be in. That must make you so anxious, dude. Like you can't leave, and you can't stay. Man, I'm so sorry for you.
It's just a big party is all it is. I mean, once the hurricane starts hitting, we start drinking. So
Okay,
All right.
right on, right.
I'm
on.
a real Floridian.
I'm gonna say how used are you to this like sort of thing happening at this point?
I've been here 17 years. It's really,
Yeah.
it's not a huge deal. It's just inconvenience, really, because I know since it's going to hit us head on, we're probably going to lose power. And the way that the power restoration works, they literally set up camp down the road from us. The power company literally sets up camp with all the trucks and equipment and everything. And then they start like 25 miles south and work their way back up. So we're always the last to get our power back on.
Oh, man.
Twice now we've been without power after a hurricane for a week.
Damn.
And it's
Oh,
just
boy.
that sucks in the Florida heat. And on top of that, we've got friends that be like, oh, well, just come stay with us. Come stay with us. We got air, we got hot water, blah, blah, blah. Well, it doesn't, we can't do that because we have a dog. It's not like we can just shut the house up with no air and leave the dog in the house,
Right.
So we just have to stay here and tough it out because of the dog. But my potato is worth it.
Wow.
So catch up on the comments.
Drinking parties.
Yep.
Transformers Talk. Ross says, greeting folks, greeting and welcome once again. SETTOM says, sad thing is I pulled out bots that I told Spin about on Facebook, IG earlier today and more. And so I'll show a few of those bots. Transformers Talk. Ross says, oh man, it's bad down there for you guys. And James Coleman says, Micah, you got Oracle. Where did you get him?
Yeah, Dollarama. I was so lucky. Like they must have just stocked it, and it was like the first one on the peg. I nabbed it. I actually nabbed it for Ninjatron, just in case he didn't have it. And lo and behold, he doesn't.
Like a Masters of the Universe Classics version?
It's not a classics version. It's like one of these Eternia minis. What do I do with it? And but it
Oh,
actually
those
scales really
guys.
cool. It actually scales really well with regular action figures. I
Yeah,
think
that'd
anyway.
do it.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Hey, man.
And actually over to the image that Mr. Magnus had sent, the two images.
Oh yeah, that's the signature on it.
Send that in to get graded. See what they do with it.
It'll come back boxes damaged.
Oh yeah,
And there's the other one.
I just all I can think of when I see that box is how it's boasting that it's the biggest Transformer ever, which is not true anymore, but it was at the time, and it's funny that they'd be sure to stick that on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Unicron has it beat now. I don't know if anything else had it beat before Unicron came out, but that's now the number one. Because the big story with that was it was taller than Fort Max when it was released. Settenbach agrees. Hurricanes are basically just drinking parties.
No lies detected.
Yeah.
A big bottle of vodka is part of my hurricane survival kit.
Oh, man.
Talk Raw says, as someone who experienced Hurricane Katrina firsthand, being a central Louisiana native, it was terrible. But I can't imagine folks who are directly impacted.
Wow, I remember Katrina. That was huge.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's talking about He-Man there when he said I've been watching the 2000X series. I always heard that was a good one. Everybody seemed to like that at the time.
Cool. Shiva Kobe says, ooh, an Oracle /6612 says, I'm back. And Impactor says, can't you get a generator for your home toy warp in case of emergencies? Which is a good question.
No generator. However, I do have solar. So
okay.
during the day while the solar is working, I have power. It's not house wide. We've got one outlet that works at that point.
Right.
But yeah, we do have some semblance of power anyway. So like during the day, we'll charge our phones, plug in some fans, plug in a refrigerator.
The
and
essentials.
Yeah.
How big's your battery bank?
Don't have a battery bank.
Oh, okay. You're just getting direct solar?
Yeah, direct solar.
Wow.
Didn't want a battery bank because it's just so expensive to upkeep. I mean, the solar itself was really expensive because we did it 7-8 years ago, and it was really expensive then. I mean, even with the rebates, it was really expensive. So, yeah, we skipped the whole battery thing.
Cool.
Too much of a fire hazard too.
Yeah. Could be problems like that. If you know what you're doing, though, like you could make your own for relatively cheap. There's one guy on YouTube I could recommend.
Yeah, I mean, if you are able to track down the materials, why not?
Well, I come across recycled batteries all the time, and it's all of these 18650 LiPo lithium iron phosphate batteries,
Right.
like the pill shaped ones. And yeah, just get a whole bunch of those and like make a grid. And man, yeah, you can store so much energy.
That makes sense. Before we jump into the main topic, I'll tell everyone to like the video, subscribe to the channel. And just before the comments, there was I'm not sure how to word it, but TF fan page 101, who I didn't realize was also another Canadian content creator, recently said that his cousin, they just found out that his cousin has cancer. So if you go to the TF fan page 101 on YouTube, they have a GoFundMe account set up, and basically, as he explained it, because we are in Canada, a majority of our healthcare is covered, but the cost of getting her to the hospital, transportation, and all the other associated costs are not covered. So, so he's hoping to raise funds for that to take care of his cousin. So, we do send our wishes and hope there's some good news down the road, because I mean that is something that affects everyone at some point in time, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really. Jeez.
And let's see, SETTOM says my old ramen shop manager buddy Sonny at Ramen Spot in RVA/VCU was open during the storm. And then it reminds me of when we had the huge Eastern Board power failure. It's almost maybe about 20 years ago, and some businesses were able to still open to serve, especially restaurants. They just serve candlelight dinner for everyone since there was no power to cook everything. So just barbecues and however they could help people in that regards. Transformers Talk Raw has a question for everyone. What are your all's thoughts on New Age Romulus, Chug Sale, G1 Megs? Y'all picking it up?
Oh, where's my, because I have some funny thoughts on that, which is that the figure is a little bit too little too late, because the whole point of it is they're not allowed to make a gun Megatron, right? So New Age said to itself, well, we're going to make a gun Megatron that's in scale with like the mainline figures, including the mainline Optimus, so you can get it and put it with your Generations guys. Sounds like a good idea, right? Unfortunately, presumably because of production pipelines, we've now seen some photos of this guy, and he's scaled to go with like Earthrise Netflix Optimus, the Earthrise Voyager. The new one that everybody wants, the Commander Optimus that's just coming out now, he's a bit bigger, so the Megatron's a little small compared to him. So they were sort of beaten to the punch, and he's not going to be in scale with the Optimus that everybody's going to want him to be in scale with. Which maybe he's a good figure, because I hear New Age makes good figures, but he's going to be just a little off if you're somebody who's collecting like the latest Optimuses.
RG Eagle has an answer to Transformers Talk. Ross says, I'll be picking it up. It's shorter than Commander 86 Optimus, but looks good. I think the older third-party Megs, like Apollyon or Hegemon, would scale better.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, it looks good. It's just undersized.
Cool.
And, we know that there's a leader Megatron coming in Studio Series, but that will presumably scale with Optimus, but he's definitely going to be like a tank or something, because he can't be a gun.
So he is, according to Shozy Store, that Romulus is 6.69 inches. So that would be 6 5/8 inches.
Yeah. So he scales with this guy specifically.
Yep.
Yeah, like, I'm basing this all on like a photo that we saw of him next to the 86 Commander. Which, like, yeah, if you want a gun mode Megatron to scale with like your Earthrise Optimus, then good. James Coleman says, and hopefully to get the reissued Masterpiece Megatron next year. Are they reissuing Masterpiece Megatron? First I've heard of it, but it wouldn't surprise me. That's a popular figure.
Mm-hmm. So now, for our main topic, I'm going to throw this to you guys. Transformers figures every collector should experience.
How are we distributing this? Because I got a whole table of stuff sorted by era that I can talk about here, like in front of me. I start in the 80s and then go forwards. I don't have anything for the 2000s, the 00s. I didn't have anything for that decade, but every other decade I got something from.
Well, I will throw this into the comments too, but I guess I'll first, Mr. Magnus, what Transformer figure would you say anyone collecting should experience at some point in time?
Well, you have to have a Optimus Prime. You have to. I mean, that's got to be the top of the list. Is you have to have the two leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have an Optimus, and you got to have a Megatron. Whether your Megatron's a gun or he's a tank or whatever, you have to have those two, because that's hope and evil.
Hope and fear.
Yep.
Yeah, or fear. There you go.
Okay, I'll say, let's say 5. So 3 more that you think that every collector should. And actually, I guess going back to your Optimus and Megatron, does it matter which class or scale or years, or just have an Optimus and Megatron?
I personally don't like the little bitty ones. I don't like the legend scales. I like at least deluxe or larger. I prefer the great big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I like them big. Before you can say it.
Don't.
But
it's not the
top 5 you would have to have.
segment.
You've got to have Optimus. You've got to have Megatron.
Okay.
For me, of course, I'm partial to the first 4 that I had, which were Skywarp, Wheeljack, Optimus, and Megatron, and then you got to throw Soundwave in there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. My first 2 were Skywarp and Wheeljack. Skywarp was actually the first one that I opened. I got Skywarp and Wheeljack for my birthday, which is early December, and then for Christmas I got Optimus and Megatron.
Nice. And over to Toy Warp, well, what would you say every collector should experience at some point?
I'm gonna have to pass on that one, just because the world of Transformer toys after G1, which is all I do, I know very well that everything's better engineered and better colored and blah 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 blah. There's about a bajillion Transformers after G1 that are probably should be higher on the list, but I couldn't tell you, man. I just doing G1, I couldn't tell you.
Well, what's the G1 one that you think everybody should experience regardless?
Yeah, that is my question, because I'm going to stay within G1 as well. So I mean, for both of us, but throwing it over to you, out of everything that you know from G1, which one should someone experience?
Oh, definitely Optimus. And luckily there's enough,
Yeah.
more than enough reissues out there. But, it being the whole three-piece bit, between the trailer roller and Optimus, you're getting 3 toys for one. And I mean, I tell you what, my Optimus from when I was a kid, the play value was just through the roof. It was definitely my favorite toy. God, I feel so bad saying that though, because I know there's so many better Transformers afterwards that I just have no idea, what they are or anything.
Classic's a classic,
Yeah, I guess.
Like I said, I got some old things here in my pile of stuff, so some of them do hold up in 2024.
Well, I would say for you, Fear, what would you say is one that everyone should have?
Oh, I got more than one. That's why I'm like, you sure you want to get into this? Because I'll give me a couple minutes here, and if we do it, give me the screen because I got everybody here.
Cool. SETTOM BOCKS says, just from tonight alone, I'm getting Evmux ads on Facebook and IG already.
Whenever I went to Facebook just a minute ago, my Facebook was covered with Venom stuff.
Wow.
Is it because we mentioned Carnage?
It's
Yeah, I was mentioning Carnage, the artist.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh yeah, and the new Carnage movie.
Mm-hmm. There's Fear, you're saying it will come back to you in a moment?
Yeah, let everybody else go first before I start grabbing stuff off my pile and talking about it.
Okay, over to you, Deceptikitty. What 5 characters would you say every collector should experience?
Okay, well, I'm thinking particularly what I feel was important for me when I was collecting. So G1 obviously was my thing that I was collecting. I wanted to be a G1 completionist, and I pursued that a lot. So when I was first discovering some of the figures I didn't have, one of the important ones I found was Sunstreaker. Not only was he the first car robots, he essentially started the Transformers. His engineering is very unique. Although he's not my favorite figure, he's not my favorite character. It's just the engineering it's so unique, it's so fresh. How like that cockpit for the Micromaster, or the Microman, which we actually didn't get, but like it's there. There could be one. So I always thought about that. There could be a guy if there was one. How it kind of folds into his chest, and slides out when it's in car mode, and how his arms have those what do you call it? Just the spring-loaded launchers, for whatever reason.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was very unique. He wasn't I got him way down the line, but I felt it was very important that it was like a milestone to understanding the Transformers lore.
Mm-hmm.
Starscream is a definite important one to get. I remember when I first got Starscream, it was actually G2 Starscream, the first Starscream I had.
There he is.
Yeah, there's Sunstreaker there, and you could even see in the box art that his left hand is a fist, but his right hand is that missile, which you could launch, and it had that play pattern or gimmick. Yeah. Oh, and there's Starscream right in front there.
Yeah, that's Starscream. I didn't know the Sunstreakers had the missile launch arms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that was really cool. But if you can't get your hands on Sunstreaker, then I would say just about any of those G1 Autobots, like Trailbreaker was another one. When I got him, very unique. Yeah. Grapple is a good one too. And then just to break out a G1, I could keep naming G1s. To me, they were all important. But if you really want to get into Transformers lore, Soundwave is one of the best guys, so his tapes were very important to me. And I feel that Masterpiece Laserbeak is one of those excellent figures that is just intuitive, it's simple, it's to the point, it looks show accurate, it's like play accurate. That's a lot of fun.
No snap-on parts. It's all integrated, right?
Yeah, just so brilliant. I love that, and it's another evolution of the Transformers design. I just had him in hand a second ago. I must have dropped him somewhere, but Legacy Cosmos is probably one of my must-haves. Like nowadays, if I'm going to say of any of the figures is a must-have, Legacy Cosmos, I feel it's just again so simple but very fun to play with. Very show accurate, and there's a lot of new things that Hasbro did in this design. And I don't have a fifth one yet. I can leave that one open. It'll come to me, I'm sure.
Very conveniently, Legacy Cosmos is due to be reissued in a mass release format, so everybody will soon get a chance to have one.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Mm-hmm.
And over actually now, Deceptikitty, did you run down about 5?
That's 4 for now. I'm yet to think of a fifth one.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
I'll come back to it.
Richard, Transformers figures that you think every collector should experience.
The first one that came to mind was a G1 Optimus Prime. I think everyone should at least be able to have that experience. I was able to get mine in the Philippines. It was the 25th anniversary one with the Autobot voice box, and I think that is just sentimental enough for it's like you hear Peter Cullen come out of that, and just to play with it for the first time, because my cousin was the one that was into it. So when I got it for the first time, he already had one that he gave away to like one of my cousins a long time ago before I started liking Transformers. So he was experiencing it for the second time while I was like, oh, this is so fun. It was like my airplane toy for that ride when we went back. Trying to think, I feel like Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime is maybe something depending on complexity, just to have that transformation that might want you to break it in half, but it's complex enough. Like that was like one of the most like kind of fluid transformations, yet you had to remember the order of operations in order to get from the robot to the truck mode. Animated Megatron comes to mind. I remember hunting down that figure for the longest time, but to have toys with lights and sounds for leader class figures, and for Megatron to turn into like a giant helicopter that would spin the propellers around, that was really fun.
Nice.
What else? I think any of the Studio Series Dinobots. I've had a lot of fun playing with those ones. The Studio Series 86, like any one of them, just a big chunky dinosaur that you just turn from robot mode to thing. It's really fun. And is that 4? I lost count.
I think that was 4.
Okay. I'd say one, probably a Titan class figure. Like my favorite's Metroplex, more because it's my given from my uncle who passed away. But he's a fun Titan. I got the Legends one. He brought it all the way from the Philippines to here when he came to visit last. So it's sentimental to me. But to have like a giant robot that's about 2 feet tall that can turn into a couple of things in a playset like that's something I feel like everyone should get to enjoy at least once.
Cool. And before I get to my 5, let's see. Transformers Talk Raw says agreed to the Deceptikitty, saying agreed regarding Sunstreaker. The issue was the hinges on the windshield / cockpit breaking, if I recall.
Oh, fortunately, I never had that problem, but okay, I could definitely see that because it's like a clear plastic canopy. Yeah.
And also says, oh yes, MP Laserbeak 100%.
Sweet.
RJ Eagle says, I think everyone needs the first combiner, Devastator. The Constructicons are a unique bunch in design. Also G1 cars, Jazz Sideswipe, etc. And a Soundwave.
Totally. Excellent. Yeah.
Nah, I'd have to disagree with that one. RJ, no disrespect or nothing, but when I picked up my G1 Devastator for the first time, I was kind of disappointed because he doesn't stay together very well. There's zero articulation on him. I mean, I don't know if that's something I would want everyone to experience. It's not that. I was kind of disappointed actually. It's not that great of an experience with G1 Devastator.
I
The-
agree. My experience was like, holy shit, this thing's falling apart. But like, that brought me so much joy. Like the fact that it didn't stay together well, and it was like all over the place. And like I wanted it for so long because I had it. I had one G2 Constructicon. I had Hook for the longest time, and then it took me forever to get a Devastator. Finally, I got one. I'm like, it's so shit.
The Scramble City guys definitely held together better than he did.
Gosh, yes.
Oh my god, yeah.
That for that reason in itself, that's an important one to have because like all these Transformers are so coveted. Why is Devastator such an important character? He's crap.
As
But,
a
like,
toy, yes,
yeah,
I
You know what the funny
agree.
thing is, because I remember, I think I was probably 11 or 12 at the time, and Devastator was the only combiner that existed. And even back then, there was that frustration because that the piece between Hook and Long Haul, like he just doesn't stand up properly, and that part always gets loose. And then Scrapper's legs, like basically Devastator just has to stand perfectly still, or he's just falling apart. But then once they started creating all the other Scramble City characters, then you just start looking at Devastator a little bit sideways, and I'm like, yeah, you're not as good as the other guys.
Yeah.
But then going over to my list, out of all the Scramble Cities, I would say Defensor, for the fact that Hotspot has Defensor's head built onto him, unlike all the other combiners where everything's all separate. So he's one of my that everyone should experience. Also staying within G1, Omega Supreme, Soundwave and Blaster for sure, and the cassettes, although the cassettes runs it over 5. But Inferno, G1 Inferno, I find he's basically identical to his cartoon look. But he was just a fun character to have an experience.
I can see where you throw Omega Supreme, and I'd throw like any of the battery operated ones like Skylinks, Omega Supreme, Triptychon. Since that's not really something they do anymore,
Right.
that's a real classic thing. Yeah, I can get behind getting people to experience, him walking or the tank going around the track. Yeah,
Even a Galvatron with his like laser. Do.
Yes.
or Shockwave. Yeah,
It's like
Shockwave, yeah.
evil laughter.
I'm gonna say, okay, my fifth one. I'm gonna be selfish and just say Power Master Optimus Prime. Everything about that guy is amazing, from the box art to the Power Master to like,
I'm
Oh.
surprised I overlooked him.
yeah. He's my favorite Transformers for a lot of reasons. But like, yeah, I'm gonna put him on that list too. He's also like an Optimus Prime. You need that Optimus Prime representation in your collection.
Yeah. And actually, you know what? And I would throw Piranacon in there, but definitely Power Master Optimus, because I remember him as a kid, and it's like he is limited in movements compared to the original. And like years later, you see in all the Facebook groups, everyone making jokes about the early Transformers were all bricks and everything, and I'm like, Power Master Optimus was like the ultimate brick. But I still loved having that character though. But like he's just, the arms only like go up, like this, like and kind of like this. No real articulation on him whatsoever.
Yeah, the reissue they did of him in the 2000s, where they included all the bits to form Super Jinrai on top of that. That's like a grail of mine.
Okay.
I've never had that Super Jinrai add-on.
Yeah.
Like, it's very cool, and I saw the one that they're doing with the Masterpiece, and I'm kind of I'm feeling that. I'm really feeling that. One thing I'd like to point out about why I'm feeling like these G1s are so important to like experience is that, like, for example, Devastator, or there's that big stretch of imagination you have to have, right? It's not a direct representation. Like, you just have to let your imagination run with it a little bit, and I think that those G1 figures do that the best, in my opinion, or at least that's how it did it for me.
Catch up on the comments. Center Bockart says, for G1, it is childhood attachment only. I recall having Pretender Classics, Kmart Bumblebee, Jazz, and Grimlock. Just the bots without the shells. I can recall carrying G1 Double Dealer around like a teddy bear.
Oh man, that brings me back so many memories. Okay, so that Kmart special Bumblebee, I remember getting that. I remember that day that I unboxed that figure. Yeah, so many good memories.
Yeah.
And also says G2 Grimlock Blue and Inferno with the extra water gun. I remember that I had, otherwise same as G1.
Yeah, I got a blue Grimlock down there that I just picked up at TFCon. Same thing.
Sweet, sweet.
And Transformers Talk Raw says to Richard, sorry about your uncle, man. And great bot he gave you. And Senenbachard says that the last G1 especially recall is a Micromaster Growl, as always seemed to have him even into adulthood, even if I didn't always recall the who, what, etc. of him. And RG Eagle says also T-Rex Megs was always a favorite of mine, and RID Skybite for some reason I loved.
Yeah, the original T-Rex Megatron there, who had like a water squirter and like a snapping claw and stuff. That was a great old 90s figure.
Cool.
Amazing figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Sedum says, in terms of recommending bots for people to handle at least once, if not own, for unique engineering and transformation, I start with JPBW.
Yeah, the Japanese Beast Wars. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things there because they started getting weird because all the regular animals had been used up by the American ones. So you had like mammoths and penguins and giraffes and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that time going to BotCon and seeing all these like really awesome Japanese Beast Wars that I had never otherwise see.
Yeah, the Tanuki alarm clock. I got him up there somewhere. He works. I took the batteries out eventually, but I used him as an alarm clock for a while. So
Awesome.
Which is crazy when you think about it in terms of batteries. And I mean, I don't know if it's the quality of the battery or the device itself. But unboxing my Galvatron and it's been, some of the stuff's been in, boxed or crates for like however long, and like pulling the trigger and the sound effects still work, and then same with like the Unicron that came out in the, in the early 2000s, like the lights in the hand still flash, and I'm like, these batteries have been sitting for, a couple decades, actually almost 3 decades now, and like it still works. Like, it's funny that it still works.
yeah.
I can't leave batteries in the remote for like a few months, otherwise it'll stop working.
Yeah, exactly. So as Professor D said earlier that we sound like 75% of us are asleep.
Oh, I'm here.
The TelaTraan 2 segment, so we should be just no holds barred.
No holds barred.
Not the family friendly segment. We should all be just saying whatever and yelling at each other and just going all crazy.
I'm too agreeable.
I mean, it's not the family friendly segment, but it is still YouTube.
Yeah.
It's still YouTube, but I've seen some channels where I'm like, oh, they get away with that, and they get away with that every week, every other day. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as long as it's not in the 30 seconds and you're not mentioning anything that's illegal, then yeah, it's you can get away with a lot on YouTube. It's just a matter of, do the listeners really want to partake in something to that effect?
Yeah. All right. If you give me the screen, I can start going through my stash of guys. Oh, your shockwave still works, eh? I heard a sound, so.
It's fiddling with the trigger.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Getting his bifocals on.
40 years old, still working.
Yeah.
From my end, it sounds like like a baby crying in another room.
Yeah. It's a crocodile crying over there.
Well, hold that up to the mic again and just
Oh god, okay. Yeah, he's not quite sounding right, is he? That's funny that I would get him out and make a point that he still works, and now he's not working correctly.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah, he's not working right. Kind of sounds like Ecto 1 siren.
A little bit.
Oh, how the mighty shockwave has fallen.
How illogical.
He's not lighting up either, man. I'm gonna have to fix him.
I'm low on energon, Megatron.
Literally.
Send some energon. The shockwave sounded like a boy turtle humping.
Yeah, this is true.
Oh my god, that is right. Nailed it. Okay, we gotta have. Okay, now we have to
What's all
remember.
this white stuff in here? What?
There we go. With Professor D and the
Turtle humping.
Here's an interesting thing that I just found. If you're into the G.I. Joe Ultimates, Big Bad Toy Store has a bunch of them on sale. And the biggest one is their Wave 1 series is on sale 50% off. And that's Cobra Commander, a Bats Drone, Duke, and Snake Eyes. In one bundle for $100. I think it's the best sale that I've found today.
All right. Is it me next?
It is you next.
Yes,
Okay.
I believe Anthony's chomping at the
I'll
bit.
catch up with them
Yeah.
after.
All right. So we start out with the 80s. Everybody keeps mentioning Soundwave, but I need to shout him out again because this is a figure that I think, on its own merit, still holds up in 2024. He's surprisingly posable. He's surprisingly durable. He's got a fun gimmick. Pop the tape out. Change these guys into his tapes. This is the retro one where they've repainted him into Toon colors, but pretty much any version you can get your hands on is good. Just make sure he comes with at least one cassette so you can do the full gimmick. When it comes to the late 80s, I got to give it to Hot Rod. Again, this is the retro one. This is the G1 one. Whichever one you can get is, I think, worth experiencing. Like, I could see people not liking the Studio Series one because it's complicated, or like Kingdom Rodimus Prime because it's big and complicated. But this is a joy to transform. It's a really rock-solid figure. I think it's got like a lot of charm to it, and flipping it back and forth is just an entertaining thing to do.
You know what'd be really entertaining is to send me that spoiler.
Hot Rod, it's not Rodimus.
Yeah, this is not Rodimus Prime. I ain't taking this off.
I know, I'm messing with you.
Yeah. So when we get into the 90s, when we hit Beast Wars, what I have is not so much a singular recommendation as it is like a size class. First couple years of Beast Wars, they did these little basic sized guys that I think are just like near perfect Transformers. I got a few examples here. Everybody knows Rat Trap, of course. Here's Armadillo the Armadillo. Here's the tiny versions of Optimus and Megatron. These guys are kind of pricey on the aftermarket, but a lot of these figures are really cheap, and I think they're just like near perfect Transformers because they have ball joints, they have little weapon accessories, a lot of different kinds of animals and bugs and fish and whatnot, and they all have these really nice spring-loaded transformations where you can just flip them back and forth really quickly with a few other steps. A lot of these guys you can get really cheap, loose at like conventions and things. So if you're interested in any Beast Wars stuff, just any of these little basic class guys are good. They're like the mini bots of the 90s, basically. That's what I'd call them. So I don't have anything for the 2000s, but getting into the 2010s, it's another size class recommendation. Again with the mini bots. There used to be this size class called Legends, where they redid a bunch of the mini bots, and these are once again, in my opinion, like near perfect Transformers. You got most of the little guys represented. They all have like ball joints. They're all heavily articulated. They're all quick transformations. If you can't get Legacy Cosmos, get this one from Titan's Return. Once again, you can flip these guys back and forth really easily. I'll do Beachcomber right now. Just like that. Just like that. Yeah, and if you're in the market for versions of the mini bots, getting these ones from like the late 2010s, Thrilling 30, Combiner Wars, Titans Return, Power the Primes, I think these are the way to go. Kind of did a crappy job here, but you get the idea. Yeah. Now, when it comes to modern guys, this is one I struggle with because I'm trying to pick figures that I think everybody would like, and not everything is everybody's cup of tea. But one I keep coming back to is Earthrise Hoist. This is a very simple guy, but I think he's a very good update of the original G1 character. And he's nice and posable. He's nice and easy to transform. Here's his repaint lift ticket so I can show off the vehicle mode. I think if you want like a normal car robot, this is a good one to get. Trailmaker's probably good too. They did him up as him too. And another one that I always recommend everybody grabs is Origin Jazz from Buzzworthy Bumblebee. This is the guy that changes into his first episode spaceship form, but that's not why I recommend him. I recommend him just because he's like one of my favorite figures. Just the engineering is great, the articulation's great, he looks and feels like the Jazz you know. Yeah, last year when I did the countdown of top figures of the year, this guy won. That's how much I liked him. So if you can get one, get one. And
here's his. I have him in the alt mode.
Oh yeah, if you want to pop him up. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, like him specifically changing into that is nifty. But it's the whole experience that makes me like that one so much. He just turned out really well, like really solidly engineered, really fun to transform, really posable. And last of all, I gotta hand it to Holler with his screaming face. This was a good figure when he was grapple. I just like this version a little bit better because I think the yelling face is funny. And also they fixed an engineering problem where he had some tabs in the back that would break. So if you can see this guy, he's a fun 6-inch scale transformer, changes into a crane with a proper extending hitch and everything. So he does a lot of the things the original grapple did. Yeah, those are my everybody should have these guys.
Great that I have them. I have them in the alt modes for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this is working out nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of them I could talk about, but those are the ones that when I was running through my shelves earlier, I was picking up and going, these are the ones I think everybody should handle at some point.
I'd like to give an honorable mention to Animated Hot Rod, just because it took me out of the box of the typical Transformer. It's different looking. It's not so boxy. It's very curvy, and there's one piece on the leg. It just shifts slightly, but it adds just a little bit of silhouette to him there. I think that's a really cool figure.
There we go.
Oh yeah,
he's fun. Oop, well, I can't.
Whoa.
Gents, we're almost a quarter after 9 here, and I got to get up real early tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out. You all have a great stream.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sir. Take care.
Magnus.
Ciao, Mr. Magnus.
Mr. Magnus.
Mm-hmm.
Transformers Talk
Oh,
Raw
I just closed it, I guess.
Great stream, fellas. I wish I could stick around, work early. For me in the morning, good seeing everyone. And thank you, Transformers Talk Raw, for coming through.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yes, absolutely.
Where's that other guy? So I was going to say I had an honorable mention here in the form of Bludgeon and Tarn. They use the same mold, so I have both of them here. These guys are extremely posable robots. They're some of the most expressive, bendable guys I've ever handled. Tarn's getting a reissue soon, so everybody can grab this version. There's a few other variations of this guy out there. They're just really fun to mess around with and pose and stuff. They got good transformations, but I just like bending and flexing them in their robot modes. So this is another couple of guys where I'm if you can find some version of them, I recommend everybody give them a try.
Cool. James says, I was lucky to find Holler at Walmart and got him at a low price.
Yeah. he turned out to be not too hard to find because he was a Walmart exclusive, but everybody wanted the other guys in that assortment, so he kind of stuck around. So I don't think he's too hard to get these days. I mean, you got to go to the aftermarket, but like.
James Clone from earlier says Power Master Optimus Prime still rules. Master Force transform God on. Shiva Kobe says at GameStop today I saw Ectotron and Shattered Glass Grimlock.
Yeah, that's a really weird one, because we gotcha.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Just hearing this menacing voice from nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You could, I say, as though you can hear me.
Mm-hmm. And there you are.
We got you, buddy.
Wait, hold on. I don't hear me. Deceptikitty.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, yeah, I get it. Haha, I got that notification. That's awesome.
Seriously, just gonna leave that.
Hi.
Before we over to the RG Eagle says, I agree with you, Deceptikitty 100%. Transformers Animated just has a score of amazing figures with the cartoon designs, and I think the line is so unappreciated.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm.
I did sort of sleep on Animated as a toy line because at the time I wasn't really into the art style like a lot of other people were, so I didn't bother picking a lot of them up, and it's only after the fact that I always hear and see so much about how great they actually were. So, you know, I kind of missed the boat on that, to my regret.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wasn't really a fan of that animation style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I liked the show well enough because it was well written. I just didn't care for the visuals. But that, again, this was in like 2008 or whatever. You know, I'm a changed person about that.
It can happen. I appreciate Beast Wars because of Anthony.
Yeah. Well,
And that's coming from someone diehard G1.
well, technically, Beast Wars is G1 if you based on the story of the show.
Okay, you know what? I gave you some leeway. Don't start.
I'm like, careful with
Your
your
leeway
bring
stops
that in.
now.
That's when the arguments just start flying out.
Yeah, like Animated took me out of my comfort zone, which I like that. Like I was really hesitant on it at first, but like I guess the storyline like made me fall in love with it, the characters, and then yeah, I totally got immersed in the animation too.
I mean, for me, it was the Prime series, because it's like I just never really touched any of the other series. I did get into Beast Wars when they first came out. I don't think I had a chance to watch the second season, but I did really enjoy the first season and just getting into the characters and everything.
Yeah.
You know what? I love Transformers Prime so much is it was aired weekly, so you could talk about it throughout the week. I had a girlfriend I was seeing at the time, and her and I were actually enjoying it. I could do Transformers, and we had that in common with the girl I was seeing. Like that was so cool. That was pretty cool.
And that's back when when they were airing new. That's back when it was on the Hub, which would be like Hasbro's. Yes. God, that was. That was a really cool idea. I really miss having the Hub around actually, because that was really great. At like late at night, I'm up all night, and late at night I just turn on the Hub and have G1 episodes playing in the background.
Yeah,
nice.
They made good use of their back catalog, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And Professor D says, I've got the Green Hauler from MMC. The MP version of that figure you guys just showed is amazing. Tons of diecast, which is
I handled it a little bit
cool.
at TFCon.
Cool.
And James says, I still have the TF animated leader class Megatron. It's a great figure and awesome helicopter mode.
Yeah, great alt mode for Megatron, a helicopter.
Yeah.
with a giant gun.
Right.
If he can't be a gun, they can at least give him a large cannon.
Well, it's funny when you say that. It reminds me of the Dr. Schmoove when when that fight in is just like, watch out, Megatron has a gun. He's like, he is a gun.
Speaking of Dr. Schmoove, he is trucking along on his next project.
Coming out of the mists of a different time to continue to release new things. It's genuinely unexpected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Decepticity.
Have you guys saw that? So like he seems like he's been working on it for like 5 years and like it's a whole episode and he's gonna do like more of them. Man.
I mean, it's cool. Why not? Because I mean, his earlier stuff, the fact it became popular from I remember the website eBombs World. That all of that stuff, and this was even before YouTube. So when people started sharing it around, and I'm like, look what I just ran into, and I'm like, that's like a couple decades old. Like that's how well that stood up.
Yeah,
so it's cool for him to come back and start doing stuff again.
Yeah, totally.
One of the videos on the channel that has the most views is the one he did of that who was it, Psy song, Gangnam Style, or I don't remember the. But that video where he uses Transformer models to basically mock exactly what they're doing in the actual music video. That's got like the most views. Can you imagine in like 10 years and no one remembers that song?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like younger people that have, like Impactor would probably have no idea what that song was in like 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now I wish he was still around for us to ask him.
Mm-hmm. But it's funny with some older stuff because a lot of the younger generation are like, yeah, we don't like our new stuff. Like they actually have been more connecting to stuff from our generation, in like a decade, and a little bit later, because they're just like, you guys had either cool concepts or you put love into what you do, whereas like we can feel our stuff is just getting thrown out there just for the sake of, and they're more connecting to things that that happened within our time frame.
Yeah, it could be that, or it could be that like they're just interested in something that's more unique than what's the current mainstream, which is what has always been my interest. It's like it's just like whatever is not the mainstream, I'm interested in that. Yeah, Toy Works nodding his head.
Yeah. That's probably why Anthony and I listen to so much synth.
Yeah,
right.
Like, I can't name you. Who's somebody said something about a song from Harry Styles the other day. I'm like, what the hell is a Harry Styles? I have no idea, but man, I can name you every single song from the Midnight. I mean,
yeah, there you go.
And most people haven't even heard of the Midnight, so
it's a very weird market sample that there's like at least 3 of us here.
Yeah, I know, right? What is that? Is that a pin?
Yeah.
Cool. Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Get back. There we go.
It's worn out because Lana's been wearing it in her backpack for so long.
It was kind of disappointing. The merch that was at the Midnight concert was just, it looked like it was so amateur done. But these are like one of the stickers.
Okay. It's not bad.
And that's all I bought was the sticker pack. I really wanted a baseball cap, but yeah, it was like $40 for it, and the lettering on it was so small. It was embroidered lettering, and it was so small you could barely tell that it said the Midnight. It was just so weird.
We're in the review. Yeah, that's awesome, but like, that's too bad. The merch was kind of poor quality, man. The clothes and the stuff they had at the shows I went to were really cool. Like I picked up a shirt from both of them. Yeah, I love it.
They had some cool shirts, but it was for the tour that they were doing with Chromeo. And I think I said this last week. I had no idea who Chromeo was. I had to look them up, and I wasn't missing anything. So I really didn't want anything that said Midnight and Chromeo on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no kidding. No, yeah, I got one shirt which I really love. It says "I want to keep dreaming" in that cursive Midnight font, and it had like the tour spots on the back, so it didn't actually say the Midnight on it. But like, if you're in the know, you know where that's from because it's got
Yep.
that
Cool.
art style, right? The font style.
By the way, everyone's always talking about numbers, and I did a count on my collection.
You can count.
Yeah, I finally got them counted, not counting. Wait a minute.
A leather brain there.
I can count 4, 11, 11, but without counting doubles, I've got 136.
Oh, nice.
Nah, I thought that was kind of a really low number.
Well, it's just G1, right? So
Yeah.
for the one singular line,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that seems about right to
136,
me.
and that's not counting. I mean, that's like I said, just counting figures, not all the tie-in stuff that I've got, because I mean, they've got a ton of tie-in stuff. But not a high number. But the last time I kind of went through and valued everything market value, I mean, I've got about 25 grand worth of stuff here. So
Nice.
yeah, not bad, I think, with the number involved.
Yeah, totally.
I think in the early days, and this probably would have been like late 90s, it probably would have been around the same amount. But I guess the question is, because part of what really boosts the numbers are the combiners. Because really, if you have like 5 combiners, that's like 25 characters right there. So, like, were you counting combiners as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great too, because sitting there, it's like, you had to get up to like, I got to like 46, then or 44, and I hit Devastator 6, 50. All right, even.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I can count and do the maths.
All that alligator fighting you guys do down there.
I don't want to hear it. Oh, it's because we don't get too many hurricanes up here, is what you said earlier. Yeah, you get those maple syrup freaking storms.
Time for me to make pancakes and walk outside with the plate like this.
I totally believe that's something Canadian. You and your flappy heads.
We heard that. And RG Eagle says, I think I cried when they decided to cancel the 4th season of Transformers Animated. Was also looking forward to making Omega Supreme and Constructicons.
So much so. Actually,
So much
on
different.
Proto Man's show last night, he was talking about how Derek Wyatt was telling him all of his plans and all of his ideas on where to go in the 4th season. So one thing that he mentioned, for example, is that like Bumblebee and Bulkhead get sucked through a space bridge, and they go in the future, and Galvatron has won, and he's like ruling Cybertron, and like that was one of his concepts. And then Rodimus Magnus was a character that was supposed to show up, and yeah, so much cool stuff was supposed to happen in season 4.
I will say, the thing that I always think about this is, yeah, obviously more of it would have been great. There was a lot of good ideas for season 4. The show also isn't incomplete because they were careful to wrap up all the important stuff at the end of season 3. So if anybody hears about, like, the canceled season 4 and is like, oh, I don't feel like watching a show that's not finished, it does tie everything up. You can watch it as a completed narrative. So, like, obviously more would be nice, but we did at least get a complete story before it got taken off the air.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, it rounded off really nicely too. Actually. Yeah.
Well, James said, I saw 2 episodes of Dr. Smooth's Transformers and loved this past work. And RJ says, I think one day we got to discuss about our favorite Transformer crossover lines, like Star Wars, G.I. Joe, etc.
Yeah. I referenced the Dr. Smooth video in the review that I just posted on Children of Primus there, or rather obliquely, because one of the dramatic capture series guys that I had there was Shockwave, and so I took a photo of him shooting at Chromia running away with an Energon cube and missing, and I was like, I can't reference this Dr. Smooth sketch here. I can't quote it here without breaking my language restrictions, so you'll just have to imagine it.
Stop, witch.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the family fragment segment, so we can say whatever we want.
I know.
Limits.
Fuckers.
Yeah.
Look at Deceptikitty, he's so freed now.
I always just think of the meme. The one that always sticks with me is Shockwave can't shoot for shit, which is true.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently because he's low on energon and he put a battery in him and it doesn't work right. Yeah.
You know, that would make sense if you really had to come up with an explanation.
I'm gonna have to try to create a short with that shockwave sound.
Yeah. Get a good recording of it. Yeah, have him trying to shoot at them and then. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And really, you know, if I had time, and it's like thinking to into the Transformers 1 movie where Alita, like, you know, smacks Shockwave in the eye, and then tie it in like all the times in G1 where he's just shot at everything and completely missed. Like it just ties in so perfectly.
Oh yeah. And when he already has bad depth perception, and then he got punched in the face, so that's why he can't hit anything.
Shockwave is really getting like picked on here. He's like our what do you call that? Not scapegoat, but like
Punching bag.
punching. He's our punching bag. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what?
Push
Personally,
Shockwave.
Devastator's always been my punching bag because, like, the fact that, and it's only after rewatching G1 that I realized that, you know, the amount of times he's got beaten by, you know, Carly even beat him. You know, Rumble and Frenzy, the Dinobots, Optimus Prime's arm, Perceptor, like.
Okay,
like,
first off, shut your whore mouth.
Minosaur cut him down. Bruticus
Second
knocked
off,
him out. Like, it's just.
You try beating Devastator in the Devastation game and tell me if he's that easily defeatable.
Okay, so 1 out of 50. You know, like it's.
Yes, because I reject reality, I'm interjecting my own. It's my fantasy. Don't turn the lights on.
It's okay.
That was the coolest thing that happened to the Transformers, man. I'm telling you. Just not the toy.
Wheelie was the coolest thing that happened to Transformers.
I will punch you. We really say you're gay for saying that.
3 of G1 is the coolest thing that happened to Transformers.
Scooter's the coolest thing that happened to Transformers.
I can take your leader one and raise you a shockwave.
There he is. Like, just to be nice to this guy, if you want to see like Shockwave content where he's really competent, read the Marvel comics, because he takes over. He beats everybody in one shot when he makes his entrance. He becomes the new Decepticon leader because he thinks logically he can do a better job of it. He's the big, important, powerful threat for a very long time. So that version took all the charisma from all the other ones because he's so great. That's why all the other Shockwave portrayals are like easily beaten.
Yeah,
so
Shockwave is so cool he had to be nerfed.
Yeah, go read Marvel. That's where he's at his full potential.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent stories. Both Bob Budiansky and Simon Furman's run.
Yeah.
Shockwave says, Shockwave's an intellectual bore punching bag and cartoon Devastator is awesome. I think that would actually be a cool episode one stream. The comparison between, and I mean, again, going back to G1, the cartoon versions of the characters and the comic book versions.
Yeah.
Because I think I came across, it may be a CBR article or somewhere else, and you know, I haven't torn apart CBR in a while, but even they compared the cartoon blaster as, you know, like the fun-loving blaster, but you know, jumps into battle, whereas like the comic book blaster was like, you know, really he's even against his own Autobots. Like, he was like all in.
The good metaphor with him is Bob Budiansky said he based that whole arc on like the future scenes from the original Terminator. So Blaster is basically Kyle Reese, like as played by Michael Biehn in the original Terminator. So that's like the key to understanding the Marvel version of him. Totally different from the guy from the cartoon, like literal opposite personality.
Yep, complete opposite.
Yeah. And
Speaking, sorry, Anthony.
I was just gonna say, and also Bob Budiansky obviously liked Blaster a lot because he was pretty much the main character of the Marvel comic for like quite a stretch. Like he was at the center of like every story. So again, that's where he puts in his like most his most prominent showing.
Yep.
Speaking of Terminator,
no, go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Speaking of Terminator, the Terminator Zero that released on Netflix, I am going to give a Toy Warp recommends.
Yeah, I heard good things.
Yeah, it gets a little slow. Like around the middle, it does lag a little bit, but it all ties together in the end really, really well. It's a lot of fun to take it out of LA for once. It's a lot of fun to get away from the whole John Connor, Kyle Reese type deal. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I do recommend it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I do recommend it.
Cool. Yeah, I saw a review with some clips, and to me the most important thing is that it looks like a high budget '90s anime direct to video thing that we never got back in the '90s. At least from all the clips I saw, like the art and stuff.
Well, Production IG, from what I understand, they're the ones that are doing the art. Like they were always very innovative. They did like Ghost in the Shell 1 in '95, Ghost in the Shell 2 in 2001. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, they're always pushing the boundaries. And right now, Production IG is doing my favorite show, which is Legend of Galactic Heroes, my favorite anime, that is. And yeah, it's really cool how they could meld that classic design, although it's not cell animation anymore. Like they're using like Toon Boom or whatever, and with the CG, they're really, really good at that.
Yeah. Now that you say it like that, I'm like, oh, of course the Ghost in the Shell guys did the Terminator show. That's what it looked like when I saw the clips.
Before we round up for the evening, RJ Eagle says, Anthony, this is by far my favorite version of Shockwave. We need more of that. He seems a little bit overpowered, though.
Yeah. Well, remember, he was the big, expensive electronic toy, so of course they wanted to give him a big, powerful showing when he showed up in the comics.
Alpha of Pack, welcome Alpha. We are going to be signing off soon, but do welcome and said Zero was a good independent version of Terminator without sticking to the thread history.
Independent version? Oh yeah, cool.
And RJ says, we'll be checking out Terminator Zero this week. Toy Warp, all great reviews on this.
Oh yeah, look forward to hearing about it.
Oh, Terminator Zero, that's the name of the Netflix show. Okay.
Yeah, and what's really cool is it released on August 29th.
So when Judgment Day is supposed to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, crazy. Like the same year, too?
Well, it obviously didn't release in 1997.
But it looks like it could have because it's got that art style.
But, yeah, it released this year on August 29th. Which I just thought was the coolest thing. That was like the only reason I even wanted to tune in. Like, okay, these guys are enough fans of Terminator that they're releasing it on Judgment Day. I have to see this.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I understand that the independent comment just talks about how it's a story that doesn't involve, like you said, the Connors or the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator or anything. It's just a completely different set of people.
Yeah.
But like in a good way.
Yeah, it actually takes place in Japan.
Hmm.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
Right on. Japanese like to show off their culture and landscape.
Yeah.
So I think Professor D is going to try to jump on for 2 minutes before we sign off. But before he does, Sarah Smith, welcome, Sarah, says Braun from the Bumblebee movie is one to me.
Oh, I got him over here.
Yeah, he's an excellent figure.
Yeah. I don't have his drill right now, but I have the rest of them. Comes with a drill that turns into a knife in robot mode.
Isn't that the one that Impactor was holding up earlier?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Changes into a drill tank as his alternate mode. Like, I sold a lot of the Bumblebee preview guys, but I kept this guy just because he's just really fun on his own merits. Like, kind of got a Warhammery looking design and cool alternate mode. Yeah, this is a good one.
Cool.
And I wasn't a fan of that whatever thing he's got going on around his neck. He just kind of reminds me of that guy that helped Jabba out in Star Wars.
Oh, the guy with the... Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the like tail thing coming off the back of his head. Tells you how much I know about Star Wars.
Who is
and I like Star Wars, but I'm not like a super fan. I don't know every side character's name.
I have to give you this trivia here. That was actually the original Jabba the Hutt.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
I know, right? He was going to be the Jabba the Hutt, and then I don't know, somewhere along the line they were like, "Nah, let's use a slug."
Oh, so like the beta design, basically.
God, the drugs of the 80s. Oh wait.
70s at that point, I think.
You know, 60s, 70s, and 80s, when you look back at some of the shows, movies, and cartoons and concepts, you're like, ooh, there must have been a lot of stuff happening in the background for them to come up with these ideas and concepts.
It's funny because George Lucas always struck me as the most straight edge movie guy ever.
I know, right?
This is true.
This is this soft spoken man in his button up plaid shirt, like.
Well, you know, there
It
could be a
rhymes.
flip side to that.
Yeah.
He may have been like the straight nail, like just a straight nail dude, but surrounded by crazy creatives, that were bringing him ideas, and like, well, he's got his foot in the door, so they give him the ideas, he proposes it, and here you go, you got a franchise.
And some franchise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what they're doing with it now, that's a question mark. RJ Eagle says Wheeljack from that line was sick too.
Oh yeah, the Bumblebee one. I don't have him here anymore, but yeah, he was a good figure also.
Speaking of Wheeljack, there was a Wheeljack toy for Transformers 1. There was a bunch of characters that weren't like main characters. Like I saw Swindle.
Oh,
There was an Arachnid. Well, obviously Arachnid was the main character.
Yeah. Yeah, what they're doing is like they did all the gimmick toys, and that's where they're putting like the like B and C list guys. Like that Wheeljack's like a one step changer.
Yeah.
Like given the way these lines work, I'm sure eventually they'll do versions that are like normal size, but right now they're just like populating the cast throughout all the like gimmick figures.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. Those are a mirage of some type of gimmick. I forget what that was. It was just like a simple figure.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff, though. It's cool that they're like releasing these side characters for Transformers 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we've seen. I've seen that the Below Keys is going to be doing waves of these guys that are pretty much just all the like uncogged little side characters, like Hound and Wheeljack and all those guys. Which, and again, making them these small little model kit guys like this seems to be like the perfect way to put them out there.
Totally. Yeah.
Like, can't even complain that they don't transform because they're not supposed to transform. That's the whole thing.
Oh my God! Yes, Action Masters.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. That gives a good excuse as to why you have these action figures that don't actually transform for like the look, which is like the majority of the appeal these days, or that's like the standard for toys. It's like the looks and articulation over the playability, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, play value is completely gone out the window.
Yeah, 100%. It's just you put it on a shelf in a pose, and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really like I got Marvel Legends Death's Head, right? Speaking of comic guys, and like I love the visuals of him. He poses pretty well, but like he doesn't really do anything. He just looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
You can you can swap his his hands out for weapons. I'm like, it's cool, but like you can tell this is more of a pose it and put it on a shelf type thing. So glad he exists though, because look at him, jeez.
I opened up. I did a review on the 80s and 90s Ertl Banks on the Toy Warp channel. My grandfather bought them for me when I was a kid. And it was so funny because he was kind of caught up in that whole like if it says collectible on it, it's going to be worth money in the future. Like he's buying U.S. bonds or something. But he got me a bunch of these, and like the first one I remember because I even like had like the fake conversation on the channel. Like he hands one to me. I'm like, oh, it's like a 20s truck that says Montgomery Ward's on it. Okay, well, I mean, it rolls pretty good. Maybe I can roll it down the driveway. No, you don't play with it. It's a toy. But wait a minute. No, it's a toy. You just put it up on the shelf and you look at it. That's what a toy is. Like, no, Grandpa, that's not what play value. Okay. What's really funny is too. we went to a big car show in like 89, 90, and they had like a big vendor area, like a kind of almost like a flea market area.
Mhm.
And they had a complete Predaking there for like $10.
Oh,
And I'm like, Grandpa, I need that. Oh, that thing's never gonna be worth anything. Trash. I know, right? And then these Myrtle Banks are worth about $5 a piece now.
Unreal.
Oh, dear.
Unreal.
But yeah,
Yeah.
when Anthony brought that figure down, and it's like, yeah, that seeing that stuff just kind of reminds me of my grandpa. Like, no, it's a toy. You don't play with it. I'm like, wait, what?
That's so funny.
Wow.
I can't wait till I'm old.
You're
Off
like
my
a Toys R
lawn.
Us kid.
I'm just like here's another one I got, which is Doctor Octopus from the last Spider-Man movie. Like visually impressive, but like pretty much all he's got going on is that you can bend these. Like these are not snappable. For example, they're just like pre-posed. So I'm like, I mean, yeah, he looks great on a shelf, but again, it's pretty much just for the posing. That's about it. Cool looking though.
Yeah, totally cool.
Sarah Smith says another one is Shockwave from Dark of the Moon.
Ah,
The
Dork of the
time
Moon.
I redo Optimus killing him.
Yeah, he didn't get to be a character in that movie like so many others. I think he had exactly one line of dialogue according to the subtitles. No, 2 lines of dialogue.
Alpha of Paka says I'm cogless. And RJ Eagle says Anthony was that Death's Head. I didn't know much about him, but he's a crossover Marvel character who showed up in the Transformers Regeneration comic book. Question.
Sort of the other way around. Simon Furman invented him when he was writing Marvel comics in the 80s, like the UK versions. Just like a robot bounty hunter that wasn't a Transformer. He showed up quite a few times, had a bunch of adventures. In the UK, he's the one that wrecked Bumblebee and made him turn into Goldbug after. And yeah, at the end of one story, Simon Furman had him like accidentally get thrown into a portal, and then eventually he makes his way to the main Marvel universe, so he crosses over and becomes like a regular Marvel Comics character. Like he's still there, he doesn't show up a lot in stuff. Like he got a miniseries a few years ago, like a couple years back. But yeah, so he was a Transformers character that crossed over and became a Marvel hero. And yeah, I mean, I mostly know him because of the Marvel UK stuff, but he's a cult favorite apparently amongst the Marvel people.
It's a toy. You don't play with it. Put it on a shelf. You look at it.
Yeah.
Pack says Death's Head appeared in the UK Transformers and Doctor Who comics.
Yeah, that's funny.
What?
It's impossible to reprint most of Death's Head stuff now because the rights are so different than what they were back then. So the actual sequence of events was Furman was writing Transformers, writes Death's Head for a while, has him fall into a portal. Somebody, I think Furman was writing Doctor Who comics, has him slam into the TARDIS, meet the Doctor, and the Doctor conveniently shrinks him from robot size to human size. And the Doctor's like, well, bye, and then throws him into the Marvel universe.
That's cool.
Yeah, and like they can't print this stuff anymore because the rights are all owned by different people, and like in 80s in the UK they just could do this.
Yeah, right. Licensing wasn't really a thing back then for
Yeah.
individual characters. That is like,
Yeah.
you would license out the whole franchise, I suppose, back
Yeah.
then.
So you could have Death's Head just crossing different IPs and having it like not matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's right. Technically, Transformers and Doctor Who are very, very tangentially connected.
The only thing cheesier than Doctor Who visual effects is its fans. Just
It's always been produced for like $5 in a dream since like day one, basically. It's my understanding.
Yeah,
Okay.
I grew up with Doctor Who, and it's especially I forget the older character's name, and he had the bushy hair and the scarf. Like that was
that's
just
the
a
Doctor
favorite to watch.
Yeah.
And also, go ahead.
Yeah, and like I watched a bit of it in the like 2000s and 2010s. It was the same thing. Still, obviously being made for like $10. It's just $10 can get you slightly better visual effects than in the 80s, but only slightly.
Well, I think Professor D is probably going to jump in soon, but hopefully he gets in before we sign off. So let's do a round just before he gets in. So to Toy Warp, what you have coming up for the week?
Nothing. Storm prep.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that thing.
that thing.
Yeah, I'm probably especially if we get knocked out of power, I'm probably gonna sit down and write some scripts out for both channels. But yeah, right now it's just storm prep.
Yeah, that's a good time to get it done, I guess.
Yep.
And Sarah says, "I'm so sad he died so fast, and I wish." On the studio, Sarah has a head, his eyes popped out.
Like a battle damaged head for Studio Series Shockwave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there he is.
There we go.
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
I've been trying to talk to you guys all day. Here's why. Because you guys don't know what the most important, greatest Transformers that everybody must experience. And I have to tell you guys about it now. Hey, Spin, how about a full screen?
It's already happened. You've got
Boom.
5 minutes. Make it right.
All right, here we go. I'll do it in less than 5 minutes. You guys have covered the G1s beautifully, so we don't have to talk about it. I'll just, illustrate. Of course, you are all right about this. There's controversy about Devastator. We all agree Devastator is a terrible toy. You do not need to experience it for a good Transformers experience. But Deceptikitty did make a good point because I actually had Scrapper. I always wanted Devastator. When I got him, totally disappointed. Really happy that I didn't actually have him, when I was a little kid and it mattered. And then it was really enjoyable to see like how trash it was. But anyway, this is one of the greatest Transformers figures ever made. MP36. Now you guys were talking about the New Age Megatron that has just been released. Anthony pointed out an unfortunate timing thing, that it's not scaling with the new Optimus. But what you guys missed, what you didn't talk about, is that what's special about that New Age Megatron is that it transforms into a gun, right? Because as we discussed, that nobody else can do that. So it transforms into a gun, and the scale of the gun is exactly the same scale as the original Megatron, whereas this one's not. Yeah, exactly. So the original Megatron is the same scale as the original what. Okay, so that's why the New Age one is awesome. And in bot mode, he scales with Earthrise, which is basically it's chug scale, right? But it really looks identical to this guy. Like lots of people talk about like mini masterpieces, and I've shown on this channel before, I showed the New Age Megatron, like the Legend scale one, which is also a Transformer everybody should experience. So that's 3 Megatrons that you got to try out. The original Megatron, which you guys didn't cover. You said Prime. You guys mentioned, I think Rick mentioned the Dinobots. If nothing else, you got to at least handle G1 Grimlock. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about the MP scale, and I'm just going to show you these guys real quick. You got to handle the best Dinobots ever made are the Gigapower Dinobots. So I have the whole collection of these, and these are really the top level Transformers ever made. The 5 of these, that could be your whole collection. And some of these are worth like $1,000 now. They were like $200 when they came out. Some of them are worth $1,000. So we talked last week about this guy here. This is the best, in my opinion, masterpiece Shockwave that you can get. This is a knockoff. It's well, no, it's not a knockoff. There's controversy about it. People say that Cloud9, which never released any other figures, they might be DX9, but under Cloud9, they never released anything else. But people say they knocked off Fans Toys when their very first figure, which was Shockwave, and it's a good, well-reviewed Shockwave. But it's the very first thing they ever made. You must experience a Fans Toys item, but not their Shockwave, which you need. Oh, goodness, I'm rushing.
Careful.
See, this is why a phone is better. I just disconnected my headphones. Hold on. No, I didn't. Everything's good. Okay, so Cloud9, he's shiny. The paint is amazing. He looks great with Galvatron from Fans Toys. But I'm showing you this. This is better than the official Hound. And this is the Fans Toys Hound. Everybody should experience this. You got
Gundog?
die cast. Yes, that's right. It's Gundog. That's right. Yeah. This guy is just really incredible. The shininess, the tune accuracy. Like this is, to me, this is the pinnacle of masterpiece, because the alt mode is a real world alt mode, and then the bot mode is cartoon accurate, but it's as if the cartoon was depicting a robot that could exist in real life. So it still has all this detail. And you know, that's what they moved away from with the excessive tune accuracy, even in bot mode. And this guy, Deceptikitty and I, we've all talked a lot about this guy. This guy does suffer from that a little bit, but I can't say he suffers, because I'm holding it up because this is the absolute best Seeker that has ever been made in masterpiece scale. And this is the Deformation Space Seeker. So all the officials are trash compared to this. There's other third parties. They've done a bunch of Seekers. This is the one you need to experience. There's a knockoff. No, there's not. No, there isn't. They would just went on. Yeah, never mind. Okay, this is one of the best official reviewed masterpieces ever. So you want an official masterpiece. I'm just going to name two, and I'm going to end on the last one. But this Soundwave, Fans Toys came out with one. It's not better. So they did a better job with Hound. They did not beat Takara with Soundwave. This is an incredible figure. I don't know that it's possible to improve on this. And look, he's got a little micro blaster there, so, you know. But now, number one that you all must experience, and I will sign off on this. You guys want to guess what it is? Did you see what's in my hand?
It's some sort of Optimus.
Of course.
Of course.
MP44.
Ooh.
Now, there.
Official?
This is the official. This is the $500 US Optimus Prime. Ridiculous price, but it is like, there's all kinds of great Optimus Prime toys out there. But like when Takara decided they were going to make this masterpiece, it's not without issues. It is over-engineered for sure. But the thing is, like, this is not your flip back and forth toy, right? The new Optimus that I'm sure Anthony is going to get, the Commander Class Optimus, that is the better toy. And it is super, you know, it's great, right, in every respect. But this, if you want the pinnacle of engineering, like you grow up, you were a kid, you played with your kid Optimus, now you want the best Optimus that could ever be made, MP44. End of presentation, magnanimous moment, done. Your moment of bliss. I should say that. Moment of bliss.
500 US, 1600 Canadian.
That's right. Boom. Or
About
how
$2,000.
about, but you know, yeah, exactly. That was the retail price. These days, about $2,000.
Operators are standing by.
Hey, I also want to thank Spin for the new layout. Everybody, let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
I said everybody give him a round of applause. Rick, that includes you. Rick? All right. It was loud. It might not have been everybody, but it was loud enough, so that's fine.
There we go.
There we go.
Children of Primus forever.
as we're saying goodbye to Streamyards because of Streamyards being sold out, and then doubling their price and charging their clients that double price without giving permission, on top of their back end just being all faulty. Quickly did some research and jumped over to Evmux. I believe that's how it's pronounced, and it's going okay. And going on our first stream and basically just testing it out as we're going along. It's a lot of better features. I mean, there's still ideas we're working in the back end. But this is our temporary jump to for the moment that works and isn't ripping us off, which is also the most important.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, as we're going around to everyone, Deceptikitty, are you still there in the background?
Yay!
Yes. What do you have coming up for the week?
Okay, so this is exciting. A lot of stuff I got out of the way last week. So yeah, I'll be doing a lot more stuff on the Deceptikitty website, doing a bunch of art. So I'll be doing some promotional content just for Deceptikitty kind of stuff. Stickers will be happening. It is Inktober, so I've been practicing my art skills, and holy shit, am I ever rusty! What the heck? Man, if you don't practice, man, you lose. Use it, you lose it. That's
you just got to get the lead out.
Yeah,
Right.
no, totally.
I showed you where I was at, last week, but I'm going to get better too.
Yeah,
I'm going to get back up to where I used to be.
The whole concept of Inktober, where it's the guy who created it's like felt he was falling back on his skills. The best way to get on your skills is just jump on it every day and do something. And I know my work schedule's been crazy, so I'm going to try to jump on it too and just sketch something every other day, which we will tie in, which we want it to do. Anyone that submits their Inktober sketches, Transformers related, we'll send them a prize courtesy of Gotham Central Comics. So we'll start getting the promo out for that.
Yeah, we shouldn't say everybody. Maybe the first 20 people. Like, we don't know how many hundreds of pieces of art we're going to get in. But Toy Warp, you said it didn't go so great last week, and you are wrong. The art that everybody showed was awesome. And so I want you also, not just me and Spin and Deceptikitty Toy Warp, you are participating in Inktober, whether you like it or not.
Oh, you want me to participate?
Yeah.
You are drawing. So
How does that feel to win?
Hey, we'll talk after. It's the Deceptikitty time. We'll talk about it. Over to you, bro.
That's fine.
Well, Toy Warp had his moment before. He's got to go back and fight some alligators. Crocodiles. Sorry. Now over to Richard. What do you have coming up for the week?
Oh, and check me on Tuesday. Deceptikitty on YouTube. Yay!
Yes, don't forget about that. And then, I think Richard is
not too much this week. I think I'm on figures. Oh no!
Oh, we got you.
You're back.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We hear you.
The Wi-Fi's real. I don't know if it's Wi-Fi or it's the stream. I've been in and out, but not too much happening. Just cleaning up toys.
Right on.
Cool. And over to Fear or Courage. What do you have coming up for the week?
Finally got my review of the dramatic capture series Nemesis Bridge out today because I was out of the country on Friday, so I couldn't post it then. Shockwave, Soundwave, Megatron. Can read that on childrenofprimus.com. I'll advertise it on my socials tomorrow. Look at the light piping on this guy, unrelatedly. There's barely any light in this room, and he's picking it up.
Looks great. He looks great.
That's great.
It does.
Yeah.
Sorry, Anthony, what
I
shockwave is
noted that in the review. This is Dramatic Capture Series Shockwave. It's a repaint of the Siege one without his armor.
Okay, yeah.
In that set.
Yeah, that armor was a joke, right? But he does look good.
Yeah. So that's up on the website now. As for when my next one is, that's a bit of a question. I think I'm going on a little bit of a hiatus because I'm getting married in 2 weeks and I have to pay attention to that. Yay! So look forward to my next one. I don't know, end of October maybe. Let's say end of October because that'll give me time to do that and then put a new one together.
You know what? That works. And as you mentioned, hiatus, we're not going to be around next week because it is our Canadian Thanksgiving, or if some will say Thanks-taking, Thanks-stealing, or something to do with turkeys. But it's the Canadian version. So,
we get ours early.
Yeah. So so we'll probably be back in 2 weeks. Which I know Fear of Courage won't be here because it will be their wedding. So congratulations towards that, and I know we'll be seeing each other within that time frame.
Speaking of childrenofprimus.com, I know. Let's let everybody know whether or not the website's back up or not, because I know we were having a problem because the hurricane hit the service center.
Yes, it did come back up on Sunday afternoon. Because the servers that we have the website are located in North Carolina. The data center did say their backup generators and everything was running properly, so they didn't have any damage. But the problem was all the connections and everything within the city surrounding the data center all had damages from the storm. So once everything was restored, our website was back up online and running. So you can find us on childrenofprimus.com. And we'll have all sorts of announcements coming up on there in the near future. So on that note, as we sign off for the evening, we thank you guys for hanging out. We thank everyone in the comments for hanging out. Actually some quick comments just before we go. Sarah says, I also wish they made a driller bot.
That would have to be like a Titan class.
I'd like to see MP McDonald's TF Happy Meals toys. That would be funny. Like third party MP scale, like McDonald's toys, toys.
One with the clamp
Wait, who
hands?
said that?
I have all 4 of
Oh,
those.
DECEPTIKITTY said that?
Those
No, that's wicked. That's a
those
wicked
would be
idea.
Cool.
I have those. I have those too.
RG Eagle says, great points to MP36, MP Soundwave. Even though I like the acoustic wave 2 and MP44, I wish I had that shockwave 2. And I have Quake Wave 1, and sends a claps out to me for holding it down. So thank you, and again thank you to all you guys.
Hey! I gotta say something to RJ. RJ, you need to get at me, and we should get together and just get our figures together and shoot a video, have a play date. So link me on social media. Let's get up.
That would be cool. That would be very cool. Yeah. I'll send them
We'll film it here and then we'll post it on the channel.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
So on that note, for everyone, please like the videos, subscribe to the channels, comment even after if you're watching it and you didn't catch the live, and till all are one.
Till all are one. Till all are one.
Yeah, whatever the heck you all just said.